podcast party. Descent into Avernus.
My name is Hylan. My friends and I have put a stop to the evil plans of the Vanthampur family and Thavius Krieg, High Overseer of Elturel, to send the city of Baldur's Gate into hell. Krieg and Duke Salamra are both dead, but we're still in their secret infernal dungeon below the Vanthampur villa.
I stalk down the sewer corridor towards her, and I would like to just rip my javelin back out of her face if I can get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes a sort of a wet sploosh sound, and yeah, her body collapses back into the cobblestones.
We should get this bodies out of the halls here.
Yes.
In case there's more guards.
All right, so we drag everyone back into that sort of temple room where most of the fighting took place.
I kind of stagger into that room and sit down against a wall, and I'm just breathing because I'm on the edge of death.
You're right, Hylan.
You look into the room, Hylan. Falaster is there. He also looks pretty messed up. Ofelia is messed up. There are bodies. Reya is just standing there heaving, and all five of you are just exhausted. Okay. This is taking everything out of you.
All right, I put my hand on my heart, and my eyes glow for a minute, and I'll give myself 4 hit points with my healing hands.
While that's happening, I'd like to search Salamra's body.
Okay.
I would like to help him, and I'll give him guidance.
Okay. You go through her body. It's blood-soaked.
Yeah.
But you find in a pocket of her dress 2 keys.
Got it. Maybe something in here. Can we start searching this room as well?
Absolutely. This is the room that you guys sort of filed into after the fight with the barbed
Fight
devil.
sort of spilled in here.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
And you hadn't really gotten a chance to take a look at the room besides its most obvious features. There are 4 candlesticks with 9 tines on them and wax dripping candles coming off of those. You also see that in the south portion of the room, there is a massive, very beautiful statue, about 6.5 feet, 7 feet tall. It's got beautiful feathered wings that stretch outward, and it showcases what you can assume to be some kind of a female entity, judging by its shape and facial features. There is something strange about this particular statue in that its eyes are glowing.
Do we recognize the figure this depicts? Maybe something in our religious training?
You could make a religion check, yeah.
I will try to guidance myself on that.
Corbin would like to do the same with guidance.
Not bad. Dirty 20.
And Corbin got a 23.
Okay. Pretty good rolls. You can tell clearly that the being standing in front of you is some kind of, as I sort of indicated, angelic figure. There are some indications that this might be some kind of a higher echelon angel or angelic celestial warrior.
Okay, I'm going to kind of limp over there, and in my head, I'm going to say, can you show me who this is?
The response back from Melitium is quite shocking and rather cryptic one. We do not speak her name. That's it.
Careful of those eyes, Hylan.
This is something terrible. We should not interfere with it.
What color are the eyes that are the glowing eyes on the statue?
They're glowing with a golden light.
They look like mine.
Is anyone able to detect whether or not there could be a magical enchantment on this statue? Perhaps that's why its eyes are glowing?
I can. I need about 10 minutes. And Corbin will sit down on the ground, cross his legs, and just start ritually casting Detect Magic.
While he's doing that, I'm going to study everything about this statue and memorize everything about it.
Make an investigation check, Hylan.
I will give Hylan guidance.
Thank you. That's a 13 on investigation. Not great.
Okay. It is a pretty interesting statue. It's made out of a very fine marble. It doesn't seem to be interesting other than the fact that you're pretty sure it might be hollow.
There might be something inside this statue.
To clarify, Matt, is it look like the head is solid and the eyes are just glowing, or maybe there's something in the head and the light is coming out of the statue because there's eye holes?
Correct. That seems to be the case.
I'm still terrified of it, though.
Are there any, looking at the base or the side of the statue, does it look like there's any sort of like button or lever or anything like that could be pushed?
You could make an investigation check as well.
I will do that.
I can assist you.
While that's going on, I'd just like to search the rest of the room, see if anything else is hidden in here.
Yeah. As you take the time waiting for the detect magic ritual to complete, you wander around the room. It's impressive in a very harrowing way, in that you look around the room, and obviously besides the bodies of the cultists that you have slain and the remains of the devil, you see that there are 9 tapestries all around this room, and they depict 9 very strange and very fearful landscapes. Would you like me to go through each one?
My old nemesis, the tapestry. Yeah, I do look at them. I don't touch them. While we're doing all this, I say, Falaster, can you watch the door? The one that we were just out. The one we just drug the bodies through on the north side.
Yes. I'm just catching my breath, but I will watch the door, and I'll let you know if any more of Salamra's little goons will come through. You'll be the first to know.
Cool. And yes, I do look at the landscapes depicted on the tapestries.
Okay. From where you're standing, we're going to go clockwise. You see the first, a scarred and jagged plain floating in an endless red void. You see a dark river draining into a bottomless ravine in the center of the tapestry. Underneath it, you see words in Infernal. It says the word Nessus.
Do I know what that is?
Make a religion check. In fact, you can make a religion check for all of these 9.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
Nessus is the deepest level of Beator, the 9 hells.
The domain of Asmodeus.
Indeed.
All right, I'll move on to the next one.
The next one in Infernal says Cania. It is a tundra of unending snow and ice, unending glaciers and mountains of frigid crystal with battering winds and impossibly sheer cliffs.
I'm going to assemble the context clues here and assume that all of these portraits depict different layers of hell.
Yes, Cania is the 8th layer.
And that is ruled by a devil called Levistus, I believe.
This is actually ruled by a devil called Mephistopheles.
Got it. The 3rd tapestry?
The 7th level is Maladomini. It is depicted as an endless field of ruined and decaying cities, coated with black ichor, and from the depiction seems to be exuding a dank and low-hanging mass of polluted air. The 6th is called Malbolge, a gargantuan tumble of angular black stone blocks stacked impossibly high, with great clouds of gray-green fumes issuing between them. The 5th is called Stygia. It is shown here as a vast body of water that seems almost completely frozen. Its surface is entirely covered in ice floes and icebergs. The 4th is Phlegathos, a blazing desolation of fire and lava, with fissures spewing jets of flame miles into the air. The 3rd is Menauros, an interminable dark green and haze-filled bog stretching under a gray sky with no sun or clouds. The 2nd is Dis, a city entirely made out of what you assume to be red-hot iron, with waves of heat seeming to ripple out of the city's massive structure. And the final is Avernus, the 1st layer of hell. A charred wasteland of vast ashen plains. The sky is blood red with no sun or stars apparent. A river of dark fluid meanders through the center of the illustration, and you recognize that from the 9th depiction. What you can assume is that the river itself actually goes through all 9 levels of hell. Where it goes after that, who knows?
Have I heard of such a river? Do I know what the name of it might be?
I will say that with your 20 religion, you'd say, certainly you have heard of it. It's called the River Styx.
I'm going to walk over to Renascence and I'm going to look where he's looking, which is at the last tapestry he saw, which is Avernus. And I will take out the drawing that the tree made for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I will look at the drawing, and I will look at that, and I'll remember my vision, which I believe was an ashen plane that looked exactly like that. Is that true?
Identical.
I hold up the drawing to Renascence, and I show him again, and I say, in my vision, I was there. I think I have to go there.
Avernus. That's where Mortlock said Elturel is. Do I know, with that 20 religion check, what devil rules Avernus?
With a 20, you can be certain that there is a devil. Avernus is a constantly in flux plane of hell. It is, as you probably already know from not only your religion check, but also your discussions with your brother, it is a place of eternal war between the forces of devils, which represent evil, but of a lawful kind, and demons, which represent evil, but of the purest form of chaos. Between devils and demons, the war has raged since time has begun.
That place is the front line of the Blood War.
I rolled a 20 on my investigation on the statue, looking for something to open it, basically, or trigger a...
Yeah, there is, in fact, a small compartment on the back of this statue.
What sort of a compartment?
It seems to be one that you could pull open. And as this compartment opens, a beautiful golden light issues forth. And you sort of have to shield your eyes, those in front of the statue, for a second. But when you get used to this golden light, you see that there is an object inside this particular statue.
What sort of an object?
It looks like a magical golden mace.
Ooh.
Ofelia, what are you doing?
Well, I've found a glowing golden mace. She picks it up and holds it up for the group to see.
This is not a gift. This is not a statue of a random angel. This is... Melitium wouldn't even say her name.
Oh.
What?
This could be very dangerous.
Why put an angel in a temple surrounded by depictions of the hells?
Exactly.
Who is she?
Melitium wouldn't say. They said we don't speak her name.
I look towards Corbin to see if he's completed his ritual casting.
I think by this point he has, yes.
I'm going to assume that mace, I detect magic on that mace.
Very much magical.
What sort of magic? When I touch it, does anything happen?
You're
when I
holding
touched it to hold it up? Okay.
The metal
It's not
itself is
talking
kind
to
of...
me or anything.
No,
you know.
it's not talking to you. Here's Macy. No, no, it does not talk. There's a sort of beautiful golden light issuing off of it. It feels a little warm to your touch, but not in an uncomfortable way.
Okay. Perhaps if you give me 10 minutes and you search the rest of the area, Corbin, you may find something.
All right. I'll go around the room, check the candlesticks and the tapestries and the old lady's body. And Corbin's just going
We
to...
found a couple of keys on the corpse.
Yes. And there was at least one other room that we didn't really get to search because of the fight. Like, she ran through a bunch of areas, so we may want to actually go back and search a few other places too.
To be honest, we're pretty fucked up. We've got the puzzle box. We saved Falaster. We killed the Duke. I'm for finding our way out of here.
Agreed.
I understand.
Agreed. I'm pretty beat up too.
I think we were lucky to survive that thing.
I can wait to cast Identify until later if that would be...
I don't object to that. I'm just not much for poking around into other rooms.
Agreed. Might be more guards.
Not even the rooms connected to this room? Is there, right? Like, am I wrong about that, Matt, that there's like at least 2 other rooms in here?
So Falaster sort of fell up against the wall accidentally during the fight.
Yeah, over here.
And discovered a secret passageway to the west of this room.
Yeah, no, we should definitely check that. That's like, you can't look a gift passageway in the mouth.
And there was another room that led into this room too, right?
Correct.
Like, there was the prayer room in the front.
Mm-hmm. That's right. There was an altar in that room that you guys discovered first.
Yeah. Ofelia, let's have a look at this altar out here.
Well, I think she's identifying.
Yeah, I was going to identify, but
Okay,
Corbin
yeah,
can go,
all right.
or...
I'll look at it with you.
I will give Hylan guidance to search the altar.
Okay.
That's a 13.
13?
I rolled very low.
It happens. The altar itself is made out of some kind of obsidian. You guess, friggin' heavy, probably about 800 pounds, but it's a single block of obsidian that's just been carved, so the craftsmanship on this is just astounding. You see that there are runes carved in a ring around some sort of strange magical flame erupting from the top of it. You see that the flame itself is interesting in that it resembles an angel, but maybe only vaguely.
Does it detect as magic?
The altar itself does not detect as magic, but the flame does.
How about all these candlesticks that are around? Do any of them detect as magic?
No, they are simple iron candlesticks with 9 tines.
The angel in the flames, does she look like the angel in the temple?
She looks similar, but there's a slight difference. The face looks perhaps grimmer.
What do you think, Hylan?
I look at it and I say, "Who are you?"
You don't receive a response.
I don't even know how I do this, but I look at the flame and I instinctively try to snuff it out.
Okay. What are you using to try to snuff it out?
Prestidigitation. It's probably not going to work, but I'm going to try it.
It does not extinguish.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of magic am I getting from it?
Enchantment.
Is it hot? The flame, if you get near it, is it hot?
You do feel heat coming off of it, yes.
Corbin, can I have a candle?
Sure. Corbin will pull one of the candles off the candlestick.
Yep.
And hand her one.
Ren, I think you're a little better with fire than me. Could you try to light this?
I will hold the tallow into the flames on the altar to see if it lights.
It does.
Is there any writing on the altar? I'm sorry if you said that already.
Yeah, there are infernal runes. You speak infernal, but you don't see that they spell anything. They're just random letters in infernal.
Corbin, are those part of the magic?
All the runes magic?
It does seem to be a spell, although not one you recognize. It does seem to have some significance and maybe connection to the flame. You don't even need to roll a religion check. It's just with the outcome of your detect magic.
Yeah. Do you know what the symbols mean? I mean, I don't really recognize it as a word.
Just letters, I think, but it could be because it's a spell.
Corbin's going to look at it and think of his religion classes he's been taking and scratch his head and is it some sort of a spell that he would recognize?
Hylan, do you think that flame should be extinguished?
I don't want to risk anyone being injured at this point. I would love to extinguish it, but we're not in very good shape.
I can try something. I tried dripping wax from the candle that I've lit onto the runes to try to see if I can kind of obscure them or like cover them up.
Okay. As soon as you drip wax, which is from these awful black candles, onto one of the runes, the flame immediately subsides with a hiss. And then something quite interesting occurs. You hear a rumbling and then an awful crack. The entire obsidian altar cracks in two.
Gods! I dropped the candle.
Is there anything inside of it?
No, it was a solid piece of obsidian.
And is the fire still going?
The fire is out.
I would like to draw a facsimile of what these symbols are in my notebook.
Okay.
Just for later, in case I could show somebody who might know.
Okay.
I don't like this.
Yeah, I don't like it either.
You all in the other room heard this enormous crack, right? It almost sort of stopped you concentrating on your ritual for a second there, Ofelia. But yeah, I mean, you could assume that they're okay. No one has screamed in pain or run out of there.
I think someone or something didn't like having their letters erased.
Why are all these angels here?
Well, they could be, fallen angels.
I don't know very much about them.
I think I learned about that.
What do you know about them?
Well, I think that like sometimes an angel goes bad for whatever reason and then becomes like a devil, I think. Corbin's like searching his memory to see if that fact is true or if he's just making it up.
It's not inaccurate. Celestial beings have been transformed into other beings, either mortals, certainly, or fiends for whatever reason. Doesn't happen that often, that's for certain.
That would explain why they didn't want to tell me about her.
Who didn't want to tell you?
Malitia.
Oh, that would be my guess. Fallen angel of some kind.
You all right, Ofelia?
Has it been 10 minutes?
I'd say that it has, yeah.
Well, what happens? What can I identify about this, Mace?
The spell Identify is cast, and you recognize this mace as having a name, and it is called Heavensfall. It is a beautiful golden mace that has quite a bevy of interesting magical properties to it. First of all, it is a +1 magical mace. And when you hit a fiend or undead creature with it, that creature will take additional radiant damage.
Oh, wow.
And once per day, you can use an action to cast the spell Guiding Bolt. The only downside to Heavensfall is that while you carry this magic mace and either contemplate or undertake a malevolent act, you will be the recipient of pangs of conscience from the mace itself. In what form, you don't quite understand.
Interesting.
Why would a weapon that harms fiends be in a statue in a room full of depictions of hell?
Same reason I'm taking the shield out of here. You've got a weapon that could help your enemies. You keep it where they can't get it.
Would anyone like to use this? Perhaps Corbin?
Corbin is reluctant to take this mace. He looks at Ren. You want it?
I do, but I don't want to be greedy. I'm already dealing with this. I show him the...
Gargs.
Maybe it'll balance you out, you know? One good thing, one less good thing.
Gargs, do you like this mace?
Gargs, as you like to call him, or the Hidden Lord, as he prefers to be called, responds in this awful Centaurian voice.
Well, I'm not a big fan of that particular weapon. It smells quite badly.
Gargs hates it, so that's a plus. Yeah, in favor of my liking it. So yeah, I mean, if I'm happy to have it, just don't want to get greedy.
And don't have bad thoughts or actions.
Yeah, well, that's the real trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Reya speaks up and says, I don't believe I deserve that.
What's wrong, Reya? I know we didn't find what you were hoping to find, but we found the truth, and sometimes that's more valuable.
She nods and she says, it is, but my quest has come to an end without determining what it is that I need to do. I don't know. For the first time in so long, I just feel lost.
We saved one city today. We could maybe save another one. Your city.
She looks up at you at that and says, but how?
Well, I pull out the puzzle box. We've got this. I turn to Falaster and I say, it seems like your boss might know something about it.
Yes, she might. After all, she's quite a connoisseur of puzzles and puzzle boxes of the like, yes.
I think the secret to whatever Thavius Krieg and Salamra did that sent Elturel to Avernus might have something to do with this box. Now, Thirstwell couldn't get it open, and I'm not particularly keen to open it myself, but maybe this Silvira Savicus could unravel it, and that might help us to save Elturel, or at least to know what happened.
But how can we get to Candlekeep?
But,
the whole city is closed.
Well, first things first is getting out of this place. Then we can worry about getting to Candlekeep.
I think at this point, Zodge owes us a favor.
Yeah, it's true enough. What about you, Falaster? You've got to have a way of getting back to Candlekeep.
I'll be honest. I was not expecting that the entire city would be closed off, as it has been. The Flaming Fist seems to present quite a large barrier to our exit. And Little Kalamshan, which is in the outer city, is where my cousin is. If we are to get back to Candlekeep, we must, of course, pay him a visit, for reasons which I will explain when we get there.
This seems like a problem that money can probably solve.
Mm-hmm.
And
I am not so sure. You said you know this. You called him Zodge. Who is the Zodge?
He's an officer of the Flaming
He's
Fist.
the commander, I think.
Oh, you have an in with the Flaming Fist higher up.
Sort of.
I will leave your explanation at sort of and move on.
It's a tenuous alliance, but we had a similar goal.
Reya says, I don't believe that the Flaming Fist will aid you if I'm in your company.
Don't worry about that. We'll take care of Zodge. You just stick with us.
Yeah, I feel like it's all kind of a moot point if we don't get out of this dungeon.
Yes, we do need to find a way out of here. Has anyone checked this
We
other
haven't. No, we
secret
were busy
room
cracking
here?
an altar. Good point.
Which is fair. That was important, I think. But perhaps that should be our next step, is examining this other room. It looks like perhaps there's a passageway of some sort.
Yeah. So, Matt, I am going to take this mace then.
Okay.
Do I need to attune to it?
You do. It needs to be attuned if you are to use it.
Okay. Got it. So I'm equipping it, but I can't do the special things.
Forgive me for not remembering this because it just happened, but did anyone take anything off of Salamra that would signify that we killed her?
I took a couple of keys.
I was just going to do that.
Did she have any like jewelry or a ring or anything that we think would be associated with her?
Yeah, Salamra was not a jewelry wearer, certainly not in her hands. You would have felt the rings.
When she was a punch in our
certainly
faces.
go into your face.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
I might want to take her head. I don't know how you all feel about that.
Do you want to take one of the Grand Duke's heads?
Yeah.
I'd rather not.
Why?
Because I feel like we're going to get caught at some point, and without an explanation, if we wrap her head in one of those tapestries, I'll think, hey, if she's worshiping the devil, is that a bad idea?
What if they search
Corbin
us?
scratches his head. No one searched us yet.
If
I don't know, Corbin.
I don't know that.
It's a bloody head,
Yeah.
And who is to say that we are not lying about her worshiping the devil? I think that perhaps it is too risky, and also I'd rather not walk around with a severed head.
Same.
If it's
I
all the
mean,
same to
you know what I wish we had is some sort of device that would sort of paint a picture of everything we see. Like, just make a depiction of everything, and then we could show other people.
Can't you do that with that trick you just did at the altar?
I don't know. And then I think about it, and I stare at my hand, and a very fuzzy, help me Obi-Wan Kenobi type, slightly distorted image comes out. And it is of Thavius Krieg turning into a terrible, like it's him, and then it flips like a flip book, and he's turning into a terrible demon.
Which spell is this?
Prestidigitation can show a stationary image. So I'm just casting it over and over.
Okay.
It's like a flip book.
That's great.
It's not proof, though.
Yeah, it's like lasts 6 seconds and then it goes away, and then last 6 seconds it goes away. I love it.
I'm just making it up.
You can play charades with it, yeah.
But that's cool. Thank you.
If you really want the head, Corbin, I don't want to take the head away from you.
No,
I sort of feel
I don't want it like a trophy.
Yeah.
Perhaps there's something else that we could take to signify.
Oh, how about one of the tapestries? And if they don't believe us, they could come down here and see we cut one off. And there's, 7, 8 others.
Let's take the Avernus one.
All right.
Corbin will go over to the Avernus one. Oh, it didn't detect as magic, right, Matt?
Nope.
He'll poke it with his sword. Does it do anything?
Careful, the tapestries.
Ren, you stay back. They don't like you.
Yeah, all right.
It is just simple
All
cloth.
right,
This time.
Yeah, this time.
Look, Ren, this is how you do it.
and I
Just stop waving it about.
I cut it off.
Final boss of this campaign, massive tapestry. Just saying.
So Corbin will take the Avernus tapestry.
Okay. You roll it up. It fits into your backpack relatively well.
Let's do like Ofelia said and maybe check out that
Sure.
secret passage.
All right. Can you give me a marching order? Yeah.
I'll go first. I've had a good life.
Reya and Falaster will take up the rear.
I'll go in front.
Hylan, since you go in front, you do see pretty clearly down the hallway that only about 20 or 25 feet away, there is a ladder that seems to go upwards.
Well, this is
Back
good.
up into the house, probably. Yeah. Now, careful. We didn't clear the whole house, so there could be
Right.
trouble up there, too.
Is there a hatch at the top of it?
There is. It is a trap door.
Okay, I would like to just listen at it. So climb up the ladder and kind of listen.
Sure.
And I will give her guidance.
Make a perception check.
That's a 22.
Okay. You put your ear to the wood of this trap door and listen, and you can hear pretty distinctly the sounds of horses neighing.
Fantastic. I think it's a stable.
Right. That's good. But I think we should still try to sneak out if we can.
Agreed. I'll try to open it a little bit, like a manhole cover, and just peek out and see what I see.
Okay. You open the trap door a couple inches and look out, and You look across, and there is, in fact, a wooden stable. You see some hay, a couple of bags of what you can assume to be oats. It's relatively low light, although you can see that the sun is filtering in through some windows off to the north. And directly across from you, you see 4 beautiful gray mares, draft horses.
It seems like the coast is clear, and it's a little dark in here, so that's good.
Right. Yeah, let's get going then. Hi, everybody. The show will be back in just a minute for the second half. As always, we are offering monthly free online adventures with our Dungeon Masters. These free games fill up quickly, so if you would like to grab your spot, you should join our email list or our Discord server. Links to both can be found at cast-party.com. On Discord, you can also be part of our free bonus live audio show, Power Word Talk. If you missed our most recent show, it's in the bonus audio section of our website, and you should check it out if you want to hear the wrongest Matt Gordon has ever been. I'm kidding. And of course, our professional Dungeon Masters are available to hire for special occasions, parties, corporate team building events, or anytime you need an adventure. If you would like to book us for an online game, please check us out at cast-party.com and follow us on Facebook at CastPartyDND or Twitter at CastParty2. Finally, check out Acererak's collection of complex traps, new at DM's Guild, already a silver bestseller, featuring 13 dastardly creations to challenge your players, curated by the trap master himself, Acererak, edited by Bianca Bickford, and one of those traps is Professor Strickriddle's haunted schoolroom, which I designed. Very happy to be a part of that book. If you enjoy Podcast Party Descent into Avernus, please follow the show, rate us, leave us a review. We're doing this as a labor of love, and it really helps us a lot. We'd love to hear from you. Message us on social media or email us at info@cast-party.com. Thanks very much for listening, and now back to our adventure in Baldur's Gate.
Okay, so we will all stealthily climb out of this hatch.
Okay, everyone make stealth rolls, please.
I will give myself guidance.
I will give Reya guidance.
Why? Hylan rolled a 12.
I've rolled a 20.
Renascence got an 11.
Corbin got a dirty 20.
Good, thank you guys.
Okay, you make a good amount of noise, unfortunately, clomping up, and maybe the trap door opens and flops to the side, but the only attention you get in this space seems to be from the horses, who look over in your direction with a... And you do now see that you are in a space. It's about 15 or 20 feet wide by 40 feet wide. It's a small stable. But as the 6 of you, with Reya, Falaster, of course, in tow, come through this trap door, the reason probably that you haven't been noticed, even with your unfortunately not so great stealth rolls, is that there seems to be a commotion outside of this stable. That you hear voices, multiple voices. They seem to be sort of loud, gruff voices of a military sort. One voice saying, "Now don't you move, we've got our eyes on you. Now tell us where she is." "We don't know, sir. We only know that they've just come in here recently. Clearly we found the body." "Oh, come on, don't feed us a line like that."
I see it's a flaming fist looking for Reya.
And then you hear a third voice, this one a female voice. And she says, "That'll be enough, officer. I think I can handle it from here." "Yes, ma'am. Of course, ma'am." And then you hear the sound of plate armor as other soldiers move in.
Do we recognize the female voice?
You don't.
Does it sound like the soldiers are moving towards the villa?
You assume that this stable, which I think that you saw on the way into the villa, is most likely in the northwestern portion of the villa. If you guys are, in fact, in that same stable, then these soldiers are just to the east of you, right outside the stable.
I look around the stable. Is there just the main doors in front? Is there any other way out?
There are 2 windows to the north of you. They do seem to, however, be boarded up. And then there is the main door to the south.
So we could try those windows. I think the villa wall is just beyond them, out the windows and over the wall.
It seems like it would be pretty loud.
But wouldn't they hear us?
Well, they're certainly going to see us walking out the front door of this.
Perhaps we should just wait a moment and see if they go somewhere else.
All right.
Yeah, let's sit tight for a minute, see what happens.
Okay.
Corbin would like to put his hand on Renaissance's head and give him his vigilant blessing. So next combat, you'll have advantage on initiative.
Cheers. Is there any place to hide in the stable?
Perhaps with the horses, or maybe under this rather sizable pile of hay. But beyond that, not a whole lot. There is a sort of a small pile of wood to the northwestern corner. Doesn't seem to be large enough for you to hide under, unfortunately.
We could try and make a
Yeah, I was
distraction.
thinking the same thing.
We do have 4 horses.
Yeah.
We have horses, and I've got thaumaturgy, and Ren can do that too.
Can we?
I think it's worth a
Let
try.
me see how far away I can
Especially if, one of you can do visual and one of you can do auditory. That might, together.
do that. Well, I'm wondering, Corbin, maybe we make like some screams like coming from inside the villa and they all run in the house and then we all run out the back gate.
Worth a shot.
I think that's good. I think it goes about 30
I
feet or
think
so.
that might reach the villa from here, like if we go by the door of the stable.
All right, so we'll go over to the barn door. And is there a crack or anything we can peek through?
You could peek through one of the windows to the south.
Okay. Try to get an estimate for how far the stables are from the villa.
You peek through the window and you see that the stable is maybe about, 40 or 50 feet from the door that you entered to go in through the back. The other thing that you notice, however, is as you peek out through the window, you see that there are, in fact, soldiers on the Vanthampur Villa grounds. These soldiers, however, do not wear the vestments of the Flaming Fist. They wear the vestments of the City Watch. The interesting thing about the way that Baldur's Gate's police is set up is that the Flaming Fist are only in charge of patrolling the lower and outer city, but mostly the lower city. The upper city is maintained by a separate guard force, this one called the City Watch. The kinds of people in the upper city are much more well-to-do, and they have the ability to pay for their own guards, shall we say.
Another thing we could do, if some of you are good at lying, I'm not, maybe we could say a bunch of cultists in a devil room, they dragged her down and killed her, and we try to save her and she's dead, and then we run off. But then they'll see us.
They said they're looking for her. I assumed they were looking for Reya.
Why would the watch up here look for Reya? Why would they care?
I don't know. I thought they were Flaming Fists.
Think they're looking for the old lady.
Yeah.
Yes.
For Satyr?
Yeah. We never found her.
I think they're looking for the Lamra. I'm not a good liar. I don't know if any of you can.
I think if we tell them that we know anything about it or we're anywhere near it, they're going to keep us in custody and question us.
Yes, I think that if the diversion doesn't work, perhaps we should go back into the sewers and try to find another way into a different part of the city.
Yeah, I don't like our chances unless these screams work. So, worth trying.
Well, it doesn't look like we could make them sound like they're coming. Well, you said the door we went through was 50 or 60 feet away. Is there any part of the house that's within 30 feet of us?
You look through the window, you see that the house itself has sort of a western wing, which is relatively close by. It's maybe only about 30 feet from the door to the stables. There are a couple of windows that you see that are shuttered, but they do seem to be closer than the back door.
Got it. Corbin, what do you think about there, the western wing, second floor? Put a couple of screams up there and maybe they'll go for it.
I think it's worth a shot.
Okay. I'll do screams. You do like some smashing noises, like, someone's throwing down up there.
All right, I can do that.
Okay. So we're going to try to do that.
Okay. You issue forth your spell and a rather enormous scream materializes out of thin air, at which point some of these soldiers immediately shift and say, what was that over there? Captain, I think I found them. And you hear a number of soldiers go running off to that section of the house where you have placed your thaumaturgy. And then you hear another voice, this one that you recognize, but you haven't heard up until this point. And it says, well, man, I don't know what to tell you. Commander, I know you've been here for some time, but I promise you, the news that was delivered, of course, by him is true. We have no other way of dealing with it, but I'm sure they're here somewhere, and I'm sure she is as well. This is the voice of Captain Darmin Zodge. That same female voice that you heard at the beginning then speaks again and says, well, these maniacs who've stirred up every nest of rats in this god's forsaken city, I assume that they are still here? Well, yes, of course, Commander. I've had guards placed at the front and back exits since perhaps only half an hour ago. They haven't left. We would have seen them. Good.
I turn to Ofelia and I say, sewers. And I nod. Sewers.
And we go back down.
Yeah.
Well, let's listen to what they're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. The conversation ends with, well, if you do happen to find them, please make sure they are not harmed. I would like to speak to them myself. Of course, Commander. After all, you didn't come all the way from Chult for nothing.
So that's interesting. What do you think?
Where's Chult?
Chult is it's far to the south in the Sea of Swords. It's like a wild peninsula, and I hear they got dinosaurs.
What?
Yeah, dinosaur, like big lizard things. They live
Like
in...
dragons?
Yeah, kind of, but stupider and no fire.
Right, okay.
All sorts.
Okay, well, sewers?
Sewers.
Well, I don't know. It sounds like whoever this is might be open to talking.
Right, do we even have to run from them?
Yeah,
It sounds like she wants to talk.
maybe not, but I'm worried about Reya.
Could somebody, maybe Reya could just go back down the ladder and wait? And Ofelia, could you speak to Zodge in his head, like that thing you can do, and tell him that we're here and ask him to just bring her in here? I don't know if he'll do it or if that's a good idea, but we could do that.
I could do that. He will know we're here.
Yeah, to actually invite them in to talk to us
he
in
owes
here.
us.
Yeah,
It's worth a shot.
if we're going to speak to them.
I think we should try.
All right. I'm happy to try.
Reya says, do you have some magic that may be able to, I don't know, make me look different? Or you have this, what did you call it?
Prestidigitation, yes.
That's it, yes.
I could make you look, I could make you look very dirty or very clean, or I could, iron your clothes for you.
Well, maybe if you make me look awful and downtrodden, then they wouldn't recognize me. I don't know. I'm just throwing out
All right,
Ofelia, have you
potentials
got
here.
anything like that? Like a disguise thing?
I don't.
I do have proficiency with a disguise kit.
Oh.
Oh,
Wow.
look
Have
at
you
that.
got do you
Look
own
at
one?
that.
I do have one, yes.
Oh, well, there we are.
Yeah, I meant to work that into the story before, and I never did. 'Cause I never had the
There you go.
opportunity.
Perfect timing.
Okay.
I could give her my vestments and you could make her look like an acolyte of the church, which will make, no one wants to talk to anybody from the church because we always ask for money. So,
Yeah, good point.
That's a great idea. Reya, would you be okay with that?
I'm open to anything. I just want to get out of this place.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Ilmater's a good god. Don't worry.
Yeah, you could be a priest of Ilmater, and people worry about offending them too, so they won't want to talk to you.
Perfect.
Okay. I don't know if I need to know anything about gods. I'm not very good at that
you
kind of
take
thing.
like a vow of silence.
Right.
Perfect.
Oh, even better. Okay.
And we can step in if they ask questions about gods. So,
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
All right. I guess if they question me, let them know I was like him. And she points at Falaster, that I was a captive like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
all
idea.
Yes,
makes
we
sense.
found you.
All right.
All right, Corbin, maybe you can help Hylan to kind of Ilmater her up,
Yeah, I can give her some of my stuff, this and that. And
Do they have certain hairstyles?
They've got like the hands thing.
oh, yeah, the hands thing.
You got some
we need
white
something.
paint, maybe.
Yeah. I
White.
probably have some makeup.
Make her hands white.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, I do that. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
There's no hairstyle. I mean,
Okay.
it's,
Maybe like
gotta wrap her wrists with the red wraps.
Okay.
maybe just like a hooded cloak, like with low hood.
The vestments have a hood, yeah.
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 Yes.
Here's the vestments.
I take off my vestments and I give them to her.
Rub a bit of dirt on her face just to, obscure her visage a bit.
Blood, too, is always good. No one wants to go anywhere near bloody, and I wipe some blood off myself and wipe it on her.
All right, whose disguise kit is it? Who's disguise kit?
Oh, yeah.
I love all the flavor to it. It's
I imagine this sort of like, perhaps either Wizard of Oz style or like in your typical sort of rom-com movie, except we're just making her look horrible. And poor and like,
yeah. Like Corbin wipes blood off himself and starts to put his hand out and I just sort of gently stop him.
Yep.
Corbin, good idea, but I think the combination of the vestments and the hands and the wraps, as long as she doesn't try to speak with them a lot, I think this is enough.
All right. I wipe the blood on my pants.
I give Hylan guidance.
All right, go ahead and use your disguise kit.
Here I go.
Does she get advantage because we're all helping, or disadvantage because we're all helping?
You know what? Let's see how well she does.
That's a 22.
Nice.
Total? Awesome. Yeah. It takes a little less time than you guys would have expected, to be perfectly honest. And it's a pretty convincing job. Doesn't seem like there are any obvious flaws. And pretty darn good job.
Comes in handy in my line of work.
I sort of like the idea of asking them to step in here.
Agreed.
Yeah, let's back up.
Yes, if we're ready, I'm happy to do so.
Now, we saved these two from the dungeon. Other than that,
yes,
I think we just tell them the truth. It's the easiest thing to do and not get caught up, not stumble over our own story.
True.
Only thing is we can't give up Reya, but other than that...
Yes?
Oh, wait, she needs a name.
Well, she's taken a vow of silence, so
we don't know her name.
Yeah, Our Lady of Endurance, or, something like that.
All right, sounds good.
If we're ready, Ofelia will cast message. Zodge, it's Ofelia, we're here. Meet us in the stable.
There is no response, although you do hear outside of the stable Zodge's voice speaking again to this female who responds shortly thereafter. Commander, we seem to have received some information rather recently. I believe we've got those individuals who I was speaking to you about and seem to be rather close by. Would you allow me a moment? Yes, of course, Captain. Do you need assistance of any kind? No, of course, Commander, I don't. Give me just half a tick. Be right back. In your head, Ofelia, you hear, "Where are you?"
In the stables.
You hear a single set of footsteps approaching the stable doors. The doorknob turns, and there standing before you as the door opens is, in fact, Captain Darmin Zodge, standing alone and kind of surprised looking at seeing the six of you hidden inside the stables. Oh, hello again.
What's going on here, Zodge?
Well, I might ask the same of you.
You pretty much know what we're up to. We told you everything. It's the Vanthampurs.
Yes. We have one of them in custody, and he's told us quite a tale. Must be honest. It did match up to the encounters that you seem to be going through here in Baldur's Gate, so of course he's been remanded into custody and is awaiting trial at this point.
It's a lot you may not know, though. The Grand Duke's dead.
What?
That's not it. Thavius Krieg went bad. He was conspiring with the Vanthampurs.
I'm not sure I quite understand, but this is quite shocking news. How did you obtain this information?
There's a secret infernal temple below the villa. You can send your men down there, but tell them to be careful. Could still be cultists. Might even be devils down there as well.
From the side of the stables, you hear that same female voice say, "Captain, are you well? Is there something we should know about?"
Who is that, Zodge?
Half a moment. He puts out a finger towards you. I'll be right back. I need to be right back. And he shuts the door and walks away from the stable.
Where's he going?
He has to put her off for a little while so he can keep talking to us.
Wait, quiet. I want to try to listen.
Make a perception check.
22?
You hear Zodge whispering to this individual, and he says, Commander, I believe that we have quite a lot going on here, more than we had expected. That Vanthampur Thirstwell, we have him in custody, but he didn't tell us that his mother was seemingly involved with some kind of infernal cult. Where do you obtain this information, Captain? I don't want to spook them, but perhaps if your men would be so kind as to not immediately attack them once they, if they decide to show themselves, yes? We shall see, Captain. Are they... yes, Commander. May we? Yes, please.
I'm standing in front of Reya.
Keep your head down. Look pious, all right?
She nods. The door opens again. This time, standing next to Zodge is a woman with a beautiful set of plate armor underneath a voluminous red cloak with the symbol of the flaming fist imprinted upon it. The woman has dull gray eyes, but an imperious look to her. She has brown hair, which is just beginning to turn gray, but she holds herself like a woman much younger. Make a history check upon seeing her.
Renascence got a 3. If it wasn't about God, they didn't teach it at Ilmater School for Friendless Boys.
Hylan also got a 3.
Corbin got a 17.
Ofelia got an 11.
The only person who recognizes this individual is, in fact, Corbin. This is Commander Liara Portyr, who is, at this point in time, with Duke Ulder Ravengard's disappearance, the commander in charge of the Flaming Fist.
Oh, Commander, just come in. I'm Corbin, Church of Ilmater. You're safe. Don't worry.
She sort of looks up at you and says, I don't think I've had the pleasure.
Oh, I'm a Painbearer at, Church of Ilmater.
Yes, of course. Captain, are these the individuals you were speaking about? Yes, Commander. Please, they are of no danger to you. Of course. And she steps inside.
Zodge told us you've had a word with Thirstwell, so you may know part of the story that we're about to tell you already. Succinctly as possible, the Vanthampurs have been conspiring with the Cult of the Dead Three and Thavius Krieg. Together, they're responsible for whatever has happened to Elturel, and they were working to discredit the Flaming Fist so that Salamra could install herself as the Grand Duke now that Ulder Ravengard's disappeared. We think we may have a lead on discovering exactly what they did to Elturel, what they might have been planning to do here. But we need to leave the city in order to pursue that lead.
Make a persuasion check, Renascence.
17.
Thank God.
Yep.
Not high enough. No, I'm just kidding. You will be in prison for the rest of the campaign. Commander Portyr looks at you, Renascence, and says, interesting. You realize, of course, that with Duke Vanthampur out of the picture, so to speak, there will be quite a lot of political heat from this whole debacle.
Not exactly our sphere of influence. Above our pay grade. The real danger is whatever was done to Elturel.
Yes. A city, I'm sure, of greater value to others than to me.
Well, Duke Ravengard was there, so find out what happened to the city, you'll find out what happened to him.
She sort of raises her eyebrows for a second. She says, well, perhaps the destiny of that man was to go down with...
Wouldn't you prefer to know for sure?
She smiles and says, perhaps another day.
Does she seem like she's happy that he's gone?
Make an insight check.
That's a natural 20, crit 24.
She doesn't seem overtly upset. I would say that she herself is not a political aficionado either.
Okay.
Duke Vanthampur was doing all she could to make sure that you would go down with this city as well.
Well, then, good riddance.
I have a feeling it wasn't just her. She had a network, and we need to find out who they are.
Well, there are many factions within Baldur's Gate that some would consider insidious. But my job is to maintain law and order under the auspice of the Flaming Fist. Of course, this is outside of our sphere of influence. If it weren't for Vanthampur, and she says that with a tinge of disgust, coming to Zodge in the first place, we would never have even been able to extend ourselves up here to the upper city.
Yes, what exactly did he tell you?
What he told our good friend Captain Zodge, and she turns to Zodge, was that there were people who had broken into the villa and had slain all of his servants and were potentially coming after his mother. But we knew better, didn't we, Captain? Yes, of course, especially since we had the inn with our friends here. Am I not right?
I'm sure you can create whatever story you'd like, but I think we can all agree things worked out for the best as far as the Fist is concerned. I'm not sure if Zodge told you, but there is a dungeon and infernal temple under this villa, and it may not have been completely pacified.
They'll find all the evidence they need to show that this family was involved.
Anything that might implicate you, Zodge says.
Like what?
Don't believe we left anything behind that would implicate us.
Oh, then that's all for the best then, isn't it? Clearly, malefactors attacked this particular abode, did an awful murder to one of the city's most highly revered political heads, and we are unable to find them at this point. What a shame.
Actually,
Yeah.
I just remembered there is one loose end. We didn't find Satyr.
I'm sorry, who?
There was a lady that the Vanthampurs were holding prisoner. She was a patriarch. Her name is Satyr Hume.
Of the Hewn Patriarchs.
Yes, she was being held in a cell by the Vanthampurs. We liberated her, but she slipped away.
Zodge sort of looks inside and sees more than just the original four and says, and these others, they were prisoners as well.
They were.
Yes, yeah, there several prisoners. Satyr certainly won't have any love for the Vanthampurs, and she's got no reason to speak out on their behalf, but she did see us down there.
I see. Well, we will pay a visit to the Hewn household, I'm sure, and sort all this out.
Thank you.
And if there's nothing more to be done, it might be convenient, both for you and for us, if we were to make our way out of Baldur's Gate.
Commander Portyr smiles and says, Yes, I think that would be for the best if you were not found here in the city for quite some time. Where do you intend to go?
Is it necessary that you know?
She smiles and says, As long as your faces are not seen here in Baldur's Gate, for as long as I am here, then that should suffice.
Can I roll an insight check to see if she's lying?
Lying about what?
Basically, that she legitimately does want us to leave and not that, she...
Yeah, make an insight check, absolutely.
I just don't want to get followed, the second that we leave. Right. And that's a 21 for me.
With a 21, you're pretty darn sure that she is showing that she would be greatly pleased if you would leave and not come back for a very long time.
Someone should show Zodge the hatch so they can, if they want to go down, they can.
Mm-hmm.
Point towards the hatch to the floor, and I say, that leads into the temple that we spoke about. But again, it might not be entirely safe. We didn't see the whole place, so I'd take it very carefully.
I'm sure we'll have the time and the resources to deal with this once and for all. Thank you so much for all the help that you've given to the Flaming Fist.
We may need assistance in getting out of the city, of course, you understand?
Of course. I will alert my men that a group will be leaving under the auspices of myself and, of course, of the commander.
Basilisk Gate, then.
If that is the way you choose to leave, of course.
Is that the closest gate to where we are?
I think that's the overland gate if we're headed towards Candlekeep.
Yes, that is correct.
Let's go.
As we're sort of filing, unless they're stopping us, I assume we can file out of the stable.
Yeah, no one's stopping you.
I'd say, Zodge, I sort of jerk my head that I'd like him to follow me.
Okay. He steps in your direction.
I hand him a bag of 10 platinum pieces. And I say, my brother, Thomas Wheelwright, is a permanent resident, Cliffgate Hospital. That's 100 gold in platinum. I want him transferred to Candlekeep. He'll go if you tell him the word comes from me. If he gets there safely, another 100 gold.
To who?
Whoever delivers him, that's up to you, who it ultimately goes to. But I think the Flaming Fist can handle a simple escort mission.
It may take some time to obtain the proper paperwork to relieve him of that particular institution, but perhaps it can be done.
I just want him in Candlekeep, Zodge. And the money's good.
Of course. Money's always good.
I'll give him the 10 platinum.
Okay. He takes it willingly. Anything else anyone wants to do?
Get out of here.
I just want to escort Reya out and kind of use my big body to shield her. Come on, sister.
Yeah, she just drops her head, looking out through the tops of her eyes, and sort of looks around quickly and just sort of nods, presses her hands together in some form of supplication that she's attempting to do, and passes by Zodge and Portyr.
Nice requiem.
If we're making our way directly to Basilisk Gate, I would like to make a purchase along the way.
Absolutely.
Okay. I would just like to buy a healer's kit.
Nice.
Okay. As the six of you leave the villa, you pass by a rather sizable number of guards.
God,
These ones,
a
of
lot
course,
of guards.
not being flaming fists, but they do happen to have on their knees the patrolling guards of the Vanthampurs, who have been restrained appropriately.
Nice.
Outside of the villa, there stands a line of even more City Watch guards. However, they stand near a covered figure. This one covered with a leather tarp.
Oh, it's probably.
Does it look like a Vanthampur?
This one you don't really see from your position, although Renascence, as you look through the northern gate, you can see that the head has been uncovered, and it is the butler that Reya unfortunately dealt with.
Right. Oh, I look around for the cat for the Tressum.
Slobberchops.
Oh yeah, Slobberchops.
Slobberchops, yeah.
You don't see her.
Oh.
Okay, I give it one shot with a thaumaturgy. Slobberchops.
Corbin will do exactly the same thing.
Slobberchops. Here, kitty.
All the guards look in your direction. One of the people who seems to be held under guard is a rather rotund individual with a leather apron on, covered with stains, and a curly Q mustache. And he says, you know the Slobberchops?
Yeah. Is she still in the kitchen?
I guess she is. I have not seen her. If you see her, tell her Percy loves her. I will be back, I'm sure.
Percy?
I said, don't worry. We'll see she's taken care of.
Okay.
If they let me, I'll go back in and look for her.
You see that the back entrance is open.
Okay, I step back in there.
Okay. The main hallway of the Vanthampur villa that you have gone into, that you guys actually went into in the beginning, is bereft of people. You make your way into the kitchen. The doors, again, still open. And there, sitting in the middle of the kitchen, licking a saucer of milk, is Slobberchops.
I take another piece of jerky and I sort of wave it.
Slobberchops looks in your direction.
Yeah, Slobberchops. Bit awkward this, but it's closing time at the Vanthampur Villa. Some people may be spending some time in Blackgate Prison and want to make sure that you're taken care of. So, guess what? Field trip. You're coming to Candlekeep. You're going to love it. And The monks will love you. Librarians always like cats.
Guidance.
You realize, of course, that Slobberchops does not understand what language you're speaking. I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not totally sure. I mean, it's a cat with wings.
Yeah,
It
that's
might
true.
know.
Yeah. The cat just looks at you and sort of cocks its head.
Look, point is, I've got some jerky here. I sort of wave it.
Yeah, as soon as you say jerky and start waving the food, its wings come flying out and it glides over to you and latches onto your arm. It's a good thing you're wearing armor because it has rather sizable claws. And she begins to nibble on the jerky that you have in your hand.
All right. Come on. I go back outside with the cat.
Okay. Slobberchops follows you out.
And I say, I'm not taking this cat to hell, you understand, but I don't want it to be like left here. So I'm thinking that it could live in Candlekeep, maybe.
I cannot believe that he got Slobberchops. I'm so excited.
First he gets a shield, then he gets a mace, then he gets a cat, you know.
Gogs, this is Slobberchops. She's worth 10 of you, to be honest.
Gargs does not respond.
Right.
As the cat pads out of the back door, however, the individual with the leather apron begins to wail. Oh, Slobberchops! Oh, they found you. I'll be back. I promise you I'll be back. I'll give you all the meat that you want. Just stay safe.
Don't worry. She'll be in good hands. Nothing's going to happen to her.
I'm going to take out some jerky and give her some.
Yep, she just jumps off your arm, Renascence, and jumps onto Hylan. Starts nibbling on that jerky.
I could die right now. I'm fine.
What is it with you guys and pets? I know.
Cats are great.
Yeah, a flying cat.
You just find hairballs in the weirdest places. That's all.
Worth it.
Thanks for listening. This episode featured the Dungeon Master stylings of Matt Gordon, with Andy Cannistra as Painbearer Corbin Shiv, Rachel Tamarin as Ofelia, Carolyn Fox as Hylan, and me, Tal Aviezer, as Renascence. This episode was edited by Carolyn Fox and me. Our original theme music is by Lauren Anker and Anthony DiMasso. Remember, if you enjoy Podcast Party Descent into Avernus, please follow the show, rate us, and leave us a review. Thanks very much for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks with the next episode.
Okay. You use prestidigitation. God, I can't even say that word.
It's a hard one.
You know what it is? It's not hard to say it slowly, but if you just go, it's just like, you know, your mouth just can't. It's like chewing on marbles. How many times DMs all over the world have tried to use prestidigitation? So yeah, I just fucked it up right there.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Well, that's a sign that the writer is telling you to slow down and enunciate.
Prestidigitation. Yeah.
Supercalifragilistic prestidigitation.